Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is once again your boy, Daddy K. I would say be informed, make a profit, get an option, and support. That's why Four Stars Radio is always ready to bring the good information to our people out there because the Bible even says, for the lack of knowledge, my people perish. And if you see me here, as soon as you see dedicated, then you know you got some good information right there. And I'm so excited. Anytime I hop right here at the studio, I'm very, very, very much excited because I know by the end of the day, somebody will pick up something and then it will benefit for it. If you benefit from it, I do mine, then together we go. We don't need any more excess. We don't have to work so much here in the United States. They say we work hard. Yeah, they work smart. Sorry about that. Work smart, don't work hard. So work smart. And the smart thing is what we're going to listen shortly. This Four Stars Radio and one and only Dr. K. I'm hosting a beautiful today's show. I would say it's a real talk where we talk to the real people in the studio. But thanks to technology, now from everywhere you are, you can access, and there we go. We make the world a better place for us to live. Four Stars Radio is located here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the city of Grayson and Lawrenceville. And that's where we do everything to promote our businesses and let everybody understand the basic concept of life so you can contribute positively and then contribute wisely, contribute positively. So it's a huge thing. You join, I join, and together we go. Today is another beautiful day. I'm so excited, and we're gonna have our guest who is here. You can see in the studio, but very soon I will make a quick introduction of him. But we're going to talk something about our finances. So if you be looking for, you've been waiting for, this is the time. You get your pen and a paper and make it ready so you can put some stuff down. Now, this thing, this circumstance or situation we're finding ourselves in is dying out slowly. So you got to think about the finances and how better you can improve upon it, so you can have a better future. And then, as a matter of fact, we talk about financial freedom. I wish I can be there as soon as I can, and hope you do the same. So hold on one second. Let me go and take this quick commission of our prior sponsors, and then we'll continue with the program. So call your friends and neighbors across the globe and say we about to rock and roll as always, and let everybody tune in right here on the Facebook, YouTube, all the media outlets. You will find Four Stars Radio. Big shout out to Charlotte's Way Tropical. Charlotte's Way Tropical is a tropical market that you can go and find all your West African needs, African Caribbean needs. It's located right on the 396 Pike Street, suite number C of in Lawrenceville. You just go there and shop whatever you want to shop, and say you see Mama Charlotte out there with a beautiful smile, and ask whatever you want to find. And also, if you want to call her, now everything is mobile. You can call her 678-682-3577. 678-682-3577. That's Mama Charlotte. When you go there, you can find all your African needs. Even some of these herbs, they have the botanical name. I don't know. You go there, you'll find it. That's what we, the African, most of African use, and we still, you can see us today. And also, Kwesi Upon with American Family Insurance. I mean, if you love your family, I would say if you love your family, one thing you got to do is to protect them with the insurance. So he does the auto, home, and then life insurance policies. Call Kwesi upon 678-789-1361. 678-789-1361. Kwesi upon, he will tell you everything, will explain everything. If you want it in our local dialect, the Ghanaian local dialect, he understands most of it. You want English, whichever language you want, Kwesi upon got your back. Let's do that. Let's make sure our family are safe and sound. And finally, computer solutions. Computer solutions. If you having any problem with your computer, one person you need to call is computer solutions, and call this phone number 678-365-6559. 678-365-6559. They repair computers, cell phones, virus removal, and all anything about computer. Even if you need a basic computer training, he got you. Okay, so call aka Computer Solutions, and then the number is the one that I said. Let me say it again: 678-365-6559. Thank you so much for supporting Four Stars Radio, and all what we do is to pass the information out there, entertainment, information, empowerment, and that's all what we do. And okay, now let me welcome my guest today, the man I've been waiting for so long, Mr. Enuka Enuba. Welcome to the show.
All right. Good evening. Hello, Daddy K. How are you?
I am so wonderful. I'm so glad. Anytime I bring you, the professionals, on board, I'm so excited because I know by the end of the day, somebody will be beneficial of it. Okay, and not only them, I also do the same thing. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I know everything. When you say stuff, I pick some stuff up and spray it around. But thank you for having the time. I know you was such a busy personality, but you're taking the time to be with us. It's a blessing to us. It's a blessing to us. So, Mr. Enuba, before I said, I just said we're going to have some financial education here. But who is Emeka Enuba?
Well, first and foremost, let me first of all just thank you, Daddy K, for the opportunity to be here on this forum. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate the opportunity to share some, I think, much needed information with everybody, wherever you're dialing in from, if it's morning, afternoon, evening, anywhere on the globe. I want you to know I appreciate you taking some time today to be on the show and listening. And, hey, I love what you also said about working, not just working hard, but working smart, especially in this new era. I think it's time that we started thinking about investing time for money, not just trading time for money. So I just wanted to start with that and really show my appreciation. And then let me tell you more about me. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see here. Bam. Share. All right. So if we can bring that up. Okay. You see that and you can hear me okay, Daddy K?
Right. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Perfect. So, hey, I think with recent events that have been highlighted, especially by the pandemic, I think it's become even more evident that we need to start taking personal responsibility for our financial future and beyond. So today's conversation, real quick, is going to be about securing your financial future and beyond. So who am I? Well, my name is Emeka Onuba. My full name, Emeka Onyebuchi Patrick Onuba. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, and I was raised in Lagos, Nigeria, if you can tell from the name. I live here with my family in Houston, Texas, in the US. My background was electrical engineering technology and a minor in math from University of Houston. But I since transitioned many, many years ago, over 15 years ago, into the financial services industry. So I am a licensed registered representative. I'm an investment advisor. I hold the necessary licenses, and I'm also a certified financial educator. And 15 years in this industry, like I've said, and I have my beautiful wife who's from Cameroon, and my 3 kids. I've got 5-year-old twin boys, and I've got my 2-year-old daughter who thinks she's 20 right now because she's running things around here. But with that, that's about me. Daddy K, would you like me to get into the content or?
Right. Right.
Okay.
You know what? That's the beauty about our radio station, that we always get the best information and then the right people at the right time, because this is the time we need to talk about this. Other than that, I don't know, Wayne. And I'm glad you were here. So, Mr. Nuba, you got the floor now. Let everybody know, understand how we're going to do with our finances now, or to secure a better future in our finances. So, you got it. You got the court now.
All right. Well, let's do this. Hang on. Let me make sure. Uh-oh. Hold on. All right. There we are. You can still see me and hear me, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We see you. Everything is fine. There you go.
All right. Excellent. So I just want to quickly talk about why now more than ever, why we all need to take personal responsibility, and what our company, what we as a firm and as a group are doing to champion that cause. We are on a national financial literacy campaign. I work with a group of entrepreneurs, licensed professionals, about 70,000 of us all across the US and Canada. And, we believe that people are doing the best they can with what they know. We found that people all really want the same thing, to get to a point where money is no longer an obstacle to doing the things that you really want to do. If you want to do more, give more, have more, see more, contribute more, make an impact, right? You don't ever want money to be an obstacle. And we want to retire with dignity and be financially secure and financially independent. But most people lack the prerequisite knowledge to make crucial financial decisions every day. As a result, we trade time for money. And after so many years, we look back and we find out that we haven't really built anything. So I want you to know that at the end of this, if you're interested in getting a complimentary copy of our proprietary book titled Saving Your Future, we would love to make that book available to you so you can learn the basic principles of building a financial foundation. And by so doing, you are being a part, you are enabling us to do our part to impact 30 million families by the year 2030. But today, I want to talk about retirement income. I want to talk about how not all assets are taxed equally, why location of your money is key, because it's not about how much money you make or even how much money you build, or wealth you create. It's about how much you get a chance to keep. And a big part outside of losses and fees and other things that will reduce what you get to keep or grow is taxes, right? So I think we all want to maximize our net spendable income during retirement. So with that premise, we found that there are 3 buckets where you can put your money. For most people working a job or running a business today, right, they usually have just their 401k. But before I talk about that, in this COVID era, Daddy K, everybody right now is a stock and trading guru. Everybody is trying to get into Bitcoin and crypto. They're speculating on Zoom and Amazon, on Tesla and different emerging companies. So, there's nothing wrong with that. I won't knock your hustle. If you know what you're doing, and this is money that you can afford to lose, that's all right. Build up those assets if you can. So money's held outside of retirement plans like stocks, mutual funds, CDs, and the like, even business interests. These fall under vehicles that the column or the bucket of money that are taxed now. You're taxed when you put the money in. When those monies grow, you are taxed in the form of capital gains taxes. And when you take the distributions out, you are also taxed. So most people tend to opt for tax later, their retirement plans, collectively also called qualified plans. So if you're listening to me today and you own a 401k or 403b or 457 or SEP or regular IRA, annuity or pension, collectively, these are called qualified plans. And these are assets that when you put money in, you haven't paid any taxes. When they grow tax deferred. But when you take the money out, that's called income. And you will pay ordinary income taxes on this money. The question now is, do you think taxes are going to go up, go down, or stay the same? And even though we have no crystal ball to tell us, I think we have the writings on the wall indicating that taxes could potentially go up. So what are you doing to hedge against the possibility of building up a significant nest egg in the future, but when you're ready to start taking money out, you will share every dollar perpetually with Uncle Sam at an undisclosed tax rate. So in comes the last bucket, the often overlooked bucket of assets called tax Never. Implying that the monies you put in here, just like your stocks and mutual funds, are typically done with after-tax dollars, right? Those monies grow just like your qualified plans, tax deferred. But when you take the money out, you take the distributions out tax free, right? So before we get into what are some of those programs that fall in this bucket, let's look at a hypothetical scenario, all right? Because when you look at inflation today, the rise in the cost of living, I think we all intuitively know that a dollar today is not going to be worth a dollar tomorrow or even 10 years from now or 20 years from now. But let's look at the hypothetical impact of taking 300 grand a year in retirement income. You know, if you are in your 30s today and you're looking at retirement another 30 years from now, understand that 300,000 may have the same purchasing power as 150 grand today. So even though it may seem like a lot of money, trust me, it's really not a lot of money, right? All things considered. So let's assume that during our working years, we're working hard, we're working smart, we're building and we're saving and we're growing these assets. But unfortunately, all of your nest egg is built in your qualified plan, your IRA, your pension, your annuity, your 401k. And now you're looking to take $300,000 in income, as you can see on my screen. After state and federal taxes, assuming these historic low tax rates that you see on my screen, your after-tax income is $213,000. So check this out. You take out 300, but after taxes, you're left with 213,000 to spend with a net effective rate of 30%, right? Now, it's good to have some income, but what if you could keep more of your money? I think you will agree with me that if you have to liquidate your nest egg at 300 grand just to have 200 to spend, you can run out of money, right? So let's just say that now you got introduced and we were able to put in place these tax-free bucket of assets to diversify your portfolio and to diversify your income streams. Let's look at the effect of doing so. Now, because you don't have all your money in one place, you have the control to pull, say, equal amounts from 3 different buckets. So 100,000 from the qualified plan. After state and federal taxes, you're left with 73,000, almost 74 grand to spend. Not bad. 100,000 from your mutual funds or your real estate holdings or your business interests or whatever, your brokerage accounts. After state and federal taxes, you're left with almost 80 grand to spend, right? Capital gains taxes, that is. But now from the tax-free bucket of assets, you take 100,000 and with no state nor federal taxes, all of the 100,000 is available to spend. So check this out. You take the same 300, but in this scenario, you get to keep more money, almost 253,000 of your money, and you slash the effective tax rate by almost half. The net effective tax rate is 15.68%. I think, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that this is a better scenario than the first. But what if, just what if, you were able to really not only establish that third bucket of assets that's often overlooked, but you really beefed it up, right? You created as much of your wealth inside of there, and that made up the most of your nest egg. So now you're able to put more weight from the tax-free bucket of assets. Guess what? Now, same $300,000 income you desire, but you take 50 from the qualified plan. After the state and federal taxes, you're left with almost 42 to spend. This is ordinary income taxes. Now, from your, again, mutual fund holdings, stocks, brokerage accounts, REITs, real estate, you take 50 grand. After state and federal capital gains taxes, you're left with almost 40,000 to spend. But now taking 200,000, because you're weighting more of your distribution from the tax-free asset, with no state nor federal taxes at all, you are left with all of the $200,000 to spend. The net effect of doing this is now that you get to keep most of your money, almost 282 grand, and you bring your net effective tax rate down to the single digits. So just looking at these side by side, right, ladies and gentlemen, looking at them side by side, you can see first scenario, right? The first scenario I showed was almost 30% with only 200,000 to spend. Second scenario, right? 250 something thousand, right? With 15% net effective tax. But here you can see you're in the single digit. So this is a much better scenario. The question now becomes, what are some of the instruments that are available to utilize, right, to grow your money in a tax-free fashion? So I want to see here, Daddy K, do you see on my screen here calculator.net?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. One of the programs, one of the vehicles, ladies and gentlemen, that's available for you is something called a Roth IRA. Some of you may have heard of it. Many people have not. And a Roth IRA is a individual retirement program, if you will, like is defined here, an individual retirement arrangement that provides tax-free growth and tax-free income in retirement. The major difference between Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs are that contributions to the Roths are not tax deductible, but contributions, not earnings, may be withdrawn tax-free at any time without any penalty. That's contributions, not earnings. So let's go up here and just look at an example, okay, of a 35-year-old hearing about this for the first time, and they say, you know what, I can put away $100 a month. $100 a month is $1,200 a year. So that's what we have here, $1,200. Let's assume that they have it in a place earning 6%. They're 35 and they anticipate that they want to retire by 65. They're at a 25% tax rate and we're assuming 3% for inflation. If we calculate what they expected to have, you can see here on my screen, they're expected to have by 65, $94,000 compared to another vehicle where they pay taxes every year on the gains, $73,000, okay? Now here's the kicker. The equivalent purchasing power of $94,000 30 years from now is only 39 grand, meaning 94,000, ladies and gentlemen, 30 years from now will buy the same things that you can buy with $39,000 today. So what if this person is able to put the maximum? If you're under 50 years old, you can put the maximum, which is $6,000 a year. If you are over 50, or if you're 50 and older, you can put $7,000 a year. That's the max. Now watch this. Watch how putting the maximum changes that 94,000 significantly. If I do calculate here, this is a free calculator, by the way, online from calculator.net. Look at that, $474,000, right? Close to $500,000 compared to same money in an equivalent vehicle, but you pay taxes every year. You see the difference? But I want you to know, again, inflation, the rise in the cost of living, right? Because the equivalent purchasing power today of almost $500,000 30 years from now is almost 200,000. So what if this person, what if you're thinking, wow, this is amazing that I can put money in, grow that money tax deferred, and access that money tax free? Man, why don't I just put in 10,000 a year, 12,000 a year? Well, let's take a look. If I type in $10,000 here, calculate, the annual contribution is higher than the limit imposed by the IRS for the age, which is 6,000. Ladies and gentlemen, in English, all this is saying is that the maximum you can put inside of a Roth IRA is $6,000 every year. If you're 49 or below, it is 7,000 and above. It's 7,000 if you're 50 years or older, all right? So what if you want to put more money? That now begs the question, where else can you put it? Now, you may say, well, Emeka, I've got a Roth IRA. I'd like to tell you where you have it matters. Because if you have your money in a Roth CD, for example, earning you 1% or less, you can see here that even if you're putting the maximum at 1% every year in a CD, that's a very big difference with having almost $500,000 versus 200,000. But what if you could find a better vehicle that could get you, say, 8%, just 2% more than 6% on an average long term? This is 679,000. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is just hypothetical. No interest, no penalties, no fees, no, all these other factors have not been taken into consideration, just pure numbers, right? So what are some of the we've talked about some of the pros of a Roth, but what are some of the challenges? You see, if you make over a certain amount of money, if you make too much money, as evidenced like right here, if you have an income in 2021 that is above $140,000, okay, adjusted gross income, you are phased out. It was increased by 1,000 from 2020, in 2020 from 139 to 140 in 2021. If you've married filing jointly, it's 208,000 for a couple versus 206 last year. If you make more than this in terms of your adjusted gross income, you are phased out, which now begs the question, what then can I do? How can I take advantage of another tax-free asset, right? So access limits as well. For all those earnings, not the contributions, but your gains. If you want to access this money before 59 and a half, you cannot. And you also have to wait 5 years before you can access it. So, but wherever you are right now, whatever your circumstance, the key is to begin saving right now. So let me minimize this. And Daddy K, I want you to tell me if you can now see the cost of waiting, right?
Right, yeah.
Awesome. So hold on, where did it go? Okay.
There you go.
There you go. So the key, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to me, is to begin now. Time can be your worst enemy or your greatest ally. No matter where you are in life or in building a financial strategy, the key is to begin saving now. The sooner you begin, the less money you need to set aside to create a solid financial foundation or future. And many of us tend to treat time like it's a renewable resource, forgetting that once it's gone, Daddy K, is gone forever. So here's what I want our audience to see. If you're 35 years old, if you're 30 years old today and you have 35 more years before traditional retirement of 65, you need $435 a month to get to $1 million retirement goal, assuming you started today with no fees, no penalties, no taxes, no losses, okay? But if you waited 10 more years to get started, okay? So now you have 25 more years before 65. Guess what? Now you need more than double 435 to get to the same goal. If you waited 20 years, so now you're 50, and now you have 15 more years till 65, now you need a lot more, almost $3,000 a month. So the key, ladies and gentlemen, is to get started right now, okay? So it doesn't matter if you want to know more about, well, Emeka, how can I take advantage of a Roth, right? What other vehicles outside of a Roth, exist, right? Like the HSAs, the 529s, the 7702 plans. What are the vehicles exist? Definitely get with us, get with me. We would love to be able to show you your options, what's available out there so that you can really grow your retirement nest egg and protect your future income, because this is our approach. Our approach is to take a comprehensive approach to planning. We look at, if you have a short life, many times we're very one-dimensional in our thinking. We think about only going to make more and more and more money, right? But it's not about how much we make, it's about how much we keep, right? And it's not about how much you've built, it's about how much you get to keep as well, right? So, but it's not only about making money, we've got to plan. In this journey of life, you need peace of mind. If God forbid something happens and you die prematurely and you have a short life, we need to start having proper protection planning, ladies and gentlemen. My brothers and sisters, if you live a long time, right, something that we all want, retirement, well, guess what? For the short term, for the midterm, for the long term, you need to plan. We shouldn't be on a whim and have knee-jerk reactions to expenses. We can plan for that vacation. We can plan for that emergency fund, for our kids' college education, so we're not taken by surprise. We can plan to pay those taxes or that tithing or for retirement, but we have to do that deliberately and intentionally. Now we're living longer. It's possible to have, to develop critical or chronic illnesses. I think now more than ever, we've either had personal experiences or we know of someone who's had to go through the ordeal of a critical or chronic illness and having to take care of a loved one who now needs long-term care. We know the emotional toll it takes on the family, the financial toll of lost income of the person who's going through the illness and the loved one who's taking care of that person. or even if you use a professional institution, we know that the number one reason for retirees to file bankruptcy is developing some form of critical or chronic illness. So it's important to plan if we happen to have a hard life and in the afterlife. Something that I am especially passionate about for our community, because I've noticed something about the minority community, especially in the Black and the African and African American communities, right? The wealth tends to disappear with the generation that created. We're constantly spinning out new money. We don't know how to create, at least on a massive scale, right? Old money, right? So that the work that you're doing today, the wealth that you're working hard to build today, the assets, the real estate, everything you're doing today, that when it's all said and done, that it goes to those that you love and you care about the most. It's important that through the proper legal documents, wills, trusts, right, power of attorney, healthcare directive, legal guardianship, and so on, that you're able to ensure that your legacy lives on long after you're gone, right? You can still be in control of financial affairs even in your grave. It's possible. And these are things that we can and should do, and we are a resource for you to help you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I could show you a place where you could put your money, right, not just in your qualified plans, but those monies outside of qualified plans, but in places where you could put your money without any minimum age requirements, without income limits, contribution limits, access restrictions, continued tax deferral, but most importantly, tax-free growth and tax-free access, I think that is something that you should take aside 20 to 30 minutes to learn about and know, so you can add that to your arsenal and build your wealth the right way and access your money the right way. And if that is something that interests you, here's my contact information on the screen. Feel free to reach out to me. That's my phone number. There's my email address. I'll just call it out real quick, Daddy K, for those who may not be able to see the screen. Phone number is 281-389-4248. One more time, 281-389-4248. Email is nameka.onuba@tfaconnect.com, but you should reach me on my phone. You can find me on LinkedIn at Emeka Onuba, and on Facebook, my full name, Nameka Onuba. At this point here, I'm going to stop sharing, and Daddy K, I'm going to turn this back over to you for any questions or any, that we want to address at this point. Thank you for the opportunity to share this with your audience.
Yeah, that's terrific. Initially I was finding it difficult pronouncing your name, but now I can do it and make a Anuba. So initially it was a little difficult for me. Wow, that's terrific. That is really, really terrific. Let me go over some of these things with you so you can put it out there. Throw some more light up on it. You said the IRA contributions before you get to you've been enrolled or before you start that investment, it's already taxed. It's already taxed before the money goes into that. Is that
so? Yes, if we're talking specifically about a Roth IRA,
the Roth IRA, yeah.
Yes. So it's a representation of after-tax dollars, or another way of saying the same thing is you cannot deduct those contributions. So a Roth IRA is funded with after-tax dollars, money that has made it to your bank account, for example. Another way of saying the same thing is, let's say a person made $100,000 today, and they contributed the max of $6,000 in their Roth IRA. They cannot write off the $6,000 contribution to bring their adjusted gross income to $94,000. You cannot do that. But the beauty is, when that money goes in the Roth, it's gone in there, it will grow tax deferred, and that money could become hundreds of thousands or millions in the future that are accessed tax-free. In contrast to a regular IRA, Daddy K, you're putting pre-tax dollars or tax-deductible dollars. So in that same example, if you put $6,000 in a regular IRA and you made $100,000, you can write off the $6,000, bringing your adjusted gross income to $94,000. That's the difference between the two.
Oh, okay. I got it now. Now, you were talking about it when you started, you were talking about, at least the graph you showed us from 35 years. From 35 years. Can it be earlier than that?
Great question. Yeah.
You just use that age as an example.
I use that age. Thank you. I hope I didn't confuse everybody by starting with 35. You can start at any age. There are no age limits to contributing to a Roth. Usually there is in an IRA or 401k, because with a Roth, all that's required is that you have earned income. So you could have a 5 or 6 year old who had a lemonade stand and sold some lemonade over the summer and earned maybe $3,000. We have a young entrepreneur at 6 years old. That 6-year-old can contribute to a Roth IRA, right? So same thing. Somebody who's in their 20s, 30s. So this person could have been 18 or 19 years old and started contributing to a Roth. So it can be done with as long as you have earned income. That's what matters. Okay. Great question.
Okay, that's good. Now, what about somebody who is over 50 and wanted to get enrolled?
Very simple. There are actually many vehicles that you can use to house a Roth IRA. Many institutions can do that for you. And if you are over 50, your limit is actually $7,000, $1,000 more than say somebody who's 49 or younger, right? And how would they get started? I like to say that where you house your Roth matters, because you can see the role that interest rate plays on what you can end up having. 1% versus 4% versus 8% versus 12% makes a world of difference. So even though you can go to your bank and they can open a Roth, put a CD, use a CD, right, for your Roth IRA, there's not going to be much growth there. If you go in a regular brokerage account, if it's not being managed thoroughly, if you're left to your own devices, you may find yourself not being savvy enough to make good returns on that and be speculating, and you could lose a lot of money as a result. So I'd like to say that, hey, if you reach out to us, we would look at your risk number. It's important that you know your risk number. What's your tolerance for risk? Some people have a healthy appetite, some are very conservative. But in knowing your risk number, and now building a portfolio to house your Roth, as well as everything else you own, your mutual funds, your 401k, everything else, but you have your portfolios in alignment with your risk number, then in everything you're doing, you're not taking too much risk or you're not taking too little risk. You are in alignment with your appetite for risk. So the answer to that question, Daddy K, will be, even though you can go to any financial institution to put in place a Roth, I would ask your audience to reach out to us. Let's help you with a risk profile questionnaire, identify your risk number, show you the different vehicles that can give you that upside potential, right? And get you to your goals, your desired goals in an effective and a managed fashion. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Right. Yeah. I got that. Yeah. That's what I want to know. Let's talk about this. How do you call this investment? The Roth IRA is an investment, isn't it?
Yeah. So, well, the Roth IRA honestly is a type of independent retirement account, and it's actually named after the senator who came up with that. I think his name was William Roth. Okay. So again, it's a designation in the tax code of how the monies in here can be treated. Okay. So a Roth IRA is a type of retirement account, or is an individual retirement account or arrangement that allows you to access the money tax free, right? But different types of financial instruments can be used or can be held in a Roth, okay, and be designated or treated as a Roth. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's talk about this. So this enrollment in the Roth IRA. Is this something you can do it from your 401k, or you just have to be something on your own? How does that play?
Great question.
Or from the 401k.
Yeah, great question. If you remember when I showed those three buckets of assets, right? The 401k, your 403b, the 457, your pension, your annuity, all those fall into what is called tax later. right? They're considered qualified plans, meaning that they're qualified for a tax write-off to be deducted as tax deductible contributions, okay? So because you cannot, you need like assets to go in like assets. You cannot contribute from the 401k into a Roth IRA. You can, however, roll over your 401k into an IRA, for example, because they are like accounts. They're all considered qualified plans. With that said, though, you can do what is called a Roth conversion. You can convert some or all of your 401k to a Roth IRA. Now, there will be tax implications to doing so, and I want to put out a disclaimer that I am not a tax professional that gives tax advice. I can work within the confines of general tax information, but you always want to consult with your CPA or tax professional. But the short answer to your question, Daddy K, is that you cannot move money from your 401k into a Roth. Typically, you can do a conversion, okay? You would transfer, say, from a 401k to an IRA and then do a Roth conversion and meet your tax liabilities, or you can fund with new money, okay? If you've got money sitting on the sidelines in your checking or savings, you can start taking a portion of that money because that represents after-tax dollars and start putting that inside of a Roth IRA, okay? As well as, there are other programs as well. I know we didn't get into some of the other vehicles that fall in that tax-free column, but that's where I want the audience, if they want to know about their HSA, that they have at work, if they want to know about, the 529 for their kids' college education, municipal bonds. The problem with all of these I've highlighted is that there's some kind of restriction typically. HSAs are typically used for health-related expenses. 529s usually have to be used for higher education. And if you don't do so, then you're penalized in tax. Same thing with the HSA, right? Muni bonds are earning very little returns today that don't outpace inflation, that may not allow it to make sense. So if you want but there's also cash value life insurance, what they also call 7702 plans, or the rich man's Roth, where if you want to put hundreds of $1,000s, you don't want age restrictions or any of those limitations I've mentioned, those vehicles also exist, and we can definitely help your audience with implementing or at least finding out more about them and putting those solutions in place. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. So the best way to do the Roth IRA is to uh, uh, um, connect your bank. Is it from your bank savings? That's the best way to do it.
Yes, I like one of the advices I got earlier on in my career, and that has been a lifesaver, is to automate. Make things automatic, out of sight, out of mind. The reason why Uncle Sam got wise and started to take taxes out, for those of us who work W-2 out there, they take the taxes out and then you may get a refund when you file, is because when they tell people keep all your money and send your taxes later, they found out most people don't have the money. But when the taxes are taken out of sight, out of mind, right? So what am I getting at here? Same thing. If you connect your account to the account that houses your Roth IRA and you automate it. So maybe every week, or maybe every paycheck, or every month, or every quarter, or every 6 months, but on a regular automated basis, you fund that account. So it's just automatic. You don't even think about it. That's how you can stay on track to reaching your goals. So typically, Daddy K, there are 3 ways. With new money out of pocket, you would link, say, a bank account to the account that's housing your Roth IRA and automate the deposits. Or if you had an old Roth IRA and you wanted to transfer that to another vehicle, maybe you have the Roth IRA, you're using a CD, right, for the Roth. Now you want a better rate of return. You can actually transfer or roll that money into another Roth IRA in a more efficient vehicle. That's another way you can fund the Roth. Or you can do that Roth conversion I was talking about, right? You've got monies in the qualified plan, and within guidelines, you convert that into a Roth IRA. So those are 3 ways, right, that you can indeed get your money inside of a Roth. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Dada K and Emeka Anuba, the financial guru, educator. He has said it all. He has said it all, and this is the time. This is the best opportunity for us to know where we save our money to secure a financial future. Very soon a lot of us will be retiring, and if you retire, how much do you have? Anything you have in the bank. As a matter of fact, look at if the money's in the bank really at the end of the year pretty much like 0.01 something like that. So
The banking institutions, one of the interesting thing about banks, and I'm not knocking banks at all because they have their place for liquidity, for extreme liquidity to do things like shopping and, or if you wanted to take on business loans or consumer loans. I mean, they have their place. But I will tell you, for the long-term accumulation of your wealth, they're better and there are other instruments you can use. And even they know this, right? A bank is more of a repository for money that's very transient, money that you're using in and out to do things. But if you're trying to grow wealth for the long term, you need to seek out places where your money can at least grow to outpace inflation. At 0. nothing percent, your money is just losing its purchasing power with each passing year. And I find people who have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in a CD or money market or checking or savings, and they want to do something, but they're scared of the market, or they don't know where or who to turn to or how to get started. So they leave that money there. And with each passing year, even though they get a very little bit of gains, they're actually taking steps backwards, Daddy K, because they're losing their purchasing power, right? The money is worth less and less and less as the years go by. So this is something for our audience to also think about. Even those retired, they're leaving their job or they have to roll over their 401k. The first place they think about is their bank, right? No, there are other places you can also think about where you can continue to grow that money, tax deferred, right? Have some protections in place and guarantee yourself lifetime income. So, the scope, when it comes to finance, it's such a big scope that you need a lot of time to discuss them, and you don't want to overwhelm. You don't want to be overwhelmed. So it's good to take them in chunks. So the last thing I want to tell your audience is this. If you would love to learn about our financial literacy campaign, I've got my button on. If you want to know about how do I get that complimentary book, Emeka, how do I attend your workshops that you mentioned? Because Daddy K, every day, Monday through Friday, multiple times a day, on Zoom, anyone, anywhere in the world can Zoom in and attend our workshops on debt management, proper protection, asset accumulation, wealth preservation, retirement planning, estate planning, basically comprehensive, education so you can have peace of mind. If you want to know about that, I welcome you to reach out and we certainly will be able to get you that information. All right. Thank you.
wow. You know what? I don't know. I don't have any question anymore because I think I'm full. I'm full. This is some of the informations we need to make a better choices in our finances. A lot of time we struggle so hard and try to save and save and save. And this is a really, really, really good information for some of us to make a decision. Not tomorrow. We don't have to procrastinate or anything. We just have to do it now. Now is the time.
Yes.
If you're looking at us and you're watching Dada K and Mr. Emeka Anuba, this is the time. I had a friend who always said time, Time, time. It's now. Anything
Yes.
you plan to do it now because
No.
you don't know what is waiting for you in the next minute or so. So you got to do it now. And I thank you so much. I think I don't have anything more. You've said it all. You break it down from the three buckets, and now I have seen the importance of the Roth IRA. I don't want to repeat what you've already said, but you know what? Give us your final word.
Well, if I would leave the audience with anything, I would leave you with this. No one should be more interested in your financial future than you are, okay? Not the government. I know many times we think about Social Security, But I want you to know, even right now, there are only 3 people contributing to Social Security for every 1 person receiving benefits. It used to be 40 per beneficiary. Now there are only 3. In another 10 years, it may be completely exhausted, right? So relying on Social Security is not going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you are receiving the max benefits today, it's still less than $3,000 a month. It's not going to go far. Relying on a pension or your employer to do that for you, hey, pensions are disappearing. You guys know all too well that you must contribute. And if you're lucky, your employer will match you on something, right? So we've got to take personal responsibility. No one is more interested. And like Daddy K said, the time to get started is now. We owe it to ourselves and our family to learn the crucial information of how to create, build, preserve, and transfer wealth long term. Is the best thing you can do. And don't just learn and get educated. Apply. Information is great. I mean, knowledge is great, but when it's not applied, it's just information. It's a waste of time, right? Applied knowledge is truly what is powerful. When you learn these things, apply them, take action, put the right solutions in place. You know, I just had a young gentleman, Daddy K, as I sign off here, 51 years old, the nicest person you will ever meet, just a beautiful soul. And about 7 years ago, we established this relationship where, you know, I became his financial advisor and practitioner, and my friend and my business partner and I. And over the years, we've implemented solutions that, even though he was a single guy, not married, no kids, you know, earlier today, I met with the family. And while others were telling them about how they were going to put together GoFundMe campaigns and a dinner to raise a couple $100s, we were there with statement after statement, with paperwork to show them how, through comprehensive financial planning, that family, even though we won't help them bring their son back, they are set for the rest of their lives, because he was planning for a short life, for a long life, for a hard life, even in the afterlife. He had those plans in place. I want to implore and ask everyone who's listening, please do that, okay? If you love and you care about your family, is the biggest and the best gift that you can give your loved ones. With that, signing off. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Now, but I know you sign up in just about a minute. What is the best time to reach you? Because we don't want a situation whereby I always ask people, somebody will call you midnight, you know, you might be sleeping. And so what is the best time, time window we can reach out to you?
You know, because I don't know where everyone is dialing in from. You know, I just want to tell you, just call, right? I and my team will be able to take that call. If you don't get us, leave us a voicemail. Leave me a voicemail at that number. I will, either me or my team, somebody in my team will definitely get to you, right? Send that email. We check those the emails every day. Hit me up on social media or call me. Either way, we will get you. So Daddy K, I don't want to restrict people to time, because some of them may be in different continents altogether or different time zones. Call, obviously, if it's at 3 a.m. in the morning, chances are I may not respond. But at 7:30, 8 a.m., after we get the voicemails, you will hear from me. I would call back and certainly look to start the conversation. And I tend to be the one, I like to be very, very hands-on. So even though I have my team and my staff, they handle administrative type of things. Conversations like this, I want to have them with you directly, one-on-one. And I want you to also know, the audience, we don't charge a fee. There's no consultation fee per hour. There's no fee to sit down. You don't pay anything. We do what we do in a complimentary fashion. Now, don't get me wrong. We get paid very well, but only when we have done the right things. We put in the right solutions, and we take you and we implement the right solutions with the right product providers. They take care of us, not you. All right. Hopefully that helps. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, that helps a lot. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was about to ask that, and you just put it out there in case any financial I don't know, constraint is involved during the registration, but you just said it. But all what I can say right now is that thank you so much. Just thank you. I have, sometimes when we sit behind the studio, a lot of people, you have to be knowledgeable. In the first place, you have to be knowledgeable to do this. You have to read so many things and get understanding of what you're doing. But when you are talking, we put some notes down too. That's the secret. People may not say it, but as soon as you're talking, we got a pen and paper, and then the producers, everybody here, everybody writing something down because we learn things, we learn new things every day.
Nice.
And today is not different. I really appreciate you, and I'm hoping that our brothers and sisters across the globe, especially here in the United States, will reach out to you for a better way to secure the future finances because it is very, very important. We don't want a situation whereby you retire and then you're still struggling. Sometimes we see people, even though you can see their age, they are in the retirement age, but they are so they have to force their way out just because some of these financial situations is not helping them out. So it is better for us to act now and be safe and convenient and secure yourself and your future. So, Mr. Nuba, once again, thank you, our family and friends and audience, everybody. Thank you for this information, and I hope in the future we will invite you again for more detail. This is I can say about 80-90% of it, but we will need the rest of the 10% to make it complete.
Oh yeah, I mean, when it comes to financial concepts, it's very, very.
You're always right. Okay. All right, folks. I think we've come to the end of today's show about getting your financial secured or secure your future finances. We're working. Some people working 2 or 3 jobs all just because we want to secure our finances, but we don't know where to keep them. Now you know the Roth IRA. Call Mr. Emeka Enuba. The phone number is there. You can see it and let him help you out. I will not tell you what I'm going to do, but a word to the wise is enough. Share the program, share it across, and then let everybody. Don't sit on it and say, you just got information, therefore you want to just enjoy with yourself. Let the brothers and sisters, the family out there, extended families also know about this great information, and let us all move together. Best of the same furthest move together, flocks together. And then when we move in a convoy, it's always better than try to help everybody out. Let us all go because we all heading to the same direction. I always say, if you want to see somebody who can make a change, stand in the mirror, look at yourself and say, what can I do for myself, my family, my close family, biological family? And then what can I do for my community, the city, state, and the entire world? Martin Luther King once said, you will see one day, you judge the black man, not the color of the skin, but the content of the character. We saw a black president here. You can also be a president in your one corner. Wherever you go, you can be a president. You can make a change. So let's step out there and make a change. We've heard the financial situation and how you can make a better finance choices. Let's do it, and let's make a difference in our family. Thank you, my producer, and then my technical crews out here. Thank you very much for putting this together. And Mr. Enuba, thank you also very much, and hope sooner or later we will meet again and have more of this kind of conversation to help us out. It is very important. We're going back and forth just because of that, and I could not thank you more. Our social media outlet, share this program. If you find it difficult to reach out to Enuba, call Daddy K. Okay, I don't sleep. I'm a 24 hours man. I will never sleep until you call Dr. Enuba. I call him doctor now because of the information I've received. It's more than even being a doctor. So thank you, and we'll meet again same time next week. This is Daddy K. I sign off. I am out. See you, and have a great evening.